So this one story just destroyed the entire gun control narrative.
Her granddaughter was in the food court, traumatized but safe, thanks to Shay's boyfriend, Elijah Dickin. The 22-year-old from Seymour took down the mall shooter. Investigators say Eli, within seconds, stopped the suspect, pulled out the pistol he was carrying under the constitutional carry law, steadied himself against a pole, and fired 10 rounds from 40 yards away. The suspect tried to go back in the bathroom, but instead fell to the ground.
His actions were nothing short of heroic. He engaged the gunman from quite a distance with a handgun, was very proficient in that, very tactically sound, and as he moved to close in on the suspect, he was also motioning for people to exit behind him. We could not find that he had a permit. He was carrying legally under the constitutional carry law. Many more people would have died last night if not for a responsible armed citizen that took action very quickly.
This hero stopped a shooter in seconds and saved an untold number of lives. And you want to know what the response was from the gun control groups who claim they're not against the Second Amendment, that they just want to save lives with common sense gun laws? So Shannon Watts, the founder of Moms Demand Action, the nation's largest gun control group, immediately tweeted this. I don't know who needs to hear this, but when a 22-year-old illegally brings a loaded gun into a mall and kills a mass shooter armed with an AR-15 after he already killed 3 people and wounded others is not a ringing endorsement of our implementation of the Second Amendment. However, after she tweeted this, she immediately got called out on Twitter.
Now you see now, you done fucked up, you know that, don't you?
I see what I'm saying. No, I thought...
No, so, you know what I'm saying? That you done fucked up now, you know that, don't you?
As a result, Shannon Watts eventually deleted her tweet. Then there's Chris Brown. No, not that Chris Brown, this Chris Brown. Chris Brown is the president of Brady, another large gun control group. Here's what we're not gonna do. Continue to uplift the NRA myth of a good guy with a gun. Let me be clear, if more guns made us safer, America would be the safest country in the world. We need sensible gun laws, not vigilante safety nets. Vigilante? He was eating food at the food court with his girlfriend. He wasn't riding around the mall on a Segway looking for bad guys to shoot. He was minding his business, living his life until someone came in and started shooting, and he protected himself, his girlfriend, and countless others. And you're calling him a vigilante? But they have to do this because stories like this terrify them, because it destroys their narrative. And the one thing they cannot afford to lose is their narrative. They don't care how many people actually are saved. They don't care how often people use firearms to protect themselves. They must protect the narrative. The only problem is, like I said at the beginning of this story destroys their narrative. Let's start with the gun-free zones. In 1990, Joe Biden introduced the Gun-Free School Zones Act, which prohibited any unauthorized individual from knowingly possessing a loaded or unsecured firearm at a place that the individual knows or has reason to believe is a school zone. But here's the question. Did the Gun-Free School Zone Act stop the Uvalde school shooter? Greenwood Park Mall, where the shooting happened, is a gun-free zone. This moronic gun-free zone policy didn't stop the shooter from bringing his gun in to kill a bunch of people. But if Eli had obeyed this dumb gun policy that the mall had, the shooter would have killed way more people. And no, Eli did not break the law by ignoring the no gun policy. In Indiana, it's not against the law to ignore a no firearm sign at a private business. You may commit a criminal trespass, however, for entering a business after they have been denied entry or have been asked to leave. Pro-gun control people like to point out that civilians stopping mass shootings are rare. And they like to cite an FBI report that has since been corrected. For the period from 2014 to 2019, the FBI had missed additional cases. Once those cases are included, there were 25 cases out of 162. That's 15.4%, where people with permitted concealed handguns stopped the attacks. The FBI reports excluded cases where shooting attacks have been stopped by concealed handgun permit holders. To put it differently, while 36% of active shooting attacks have occurred in places where guns are allowed, almost half, 42.3%, of those were stopped by people who legally carry concealed handguns. Now let's talk constitutional carry. Constitutional carry or permitless carry became legal in Indiana on July 1st of this year. This shooting took place on July 17th of this year, and Eli didn't have a concealed carry permit. He was carrying based on the constitutional carry law that India passed just 17 days prior. If not for Indiana making it easier for good people to carry firearms for protection, Eli likely wouldn't have been carrying that day, and a whole lot of people would have died. Here's the crazy thing. You remember Shannon Watts, who posted and deleted that tweet? Her gun control group released a statement after Indiana Governor Eric Holcomb signed the permitless carry law that said this: by signing this bill into law, Governor Holcomb has made it clear that he would rather stand with the gun lobby than support and protect the law enforcement leaders who put their lives on the line every day to protect our communities. Permitless carry will put Hoosiers in danger, and our communities will bear the toll of Governor Holcomb's choice to ignore law enforcement's opposition to this bill. We cannot let this attack on public safety go unanswered and must hold our leaders accountable at the ballot box. The only problem is constitutional carry allowed this citizen to keep other citizens safe because law enforcement couldn't get there in time to stop the attack. There is so much irony here, I'd need 3 videos just to unpack it. Magazine capacity. The House right now is trying to pass a bill that will limit law-abiding citizens to only have 10 bullets in their guns. It took Eli 10 shots to stop the shooter. Imagine if Eli was limited to 10 rounds and he needed 1 more to stop the shooter. There's no evidence that 10 rounds makes us safer. It's literally an arbitrary number that they made up. Hell, even New York at one point was trying to pass a law that limited people's magazine capacity to 7 rounds. Magazine limitation laws hurt the good people while empowering the bad people because bad people don't obey magazine limitation laws. But good people do because they're law-abiding. I did a video about a decade ago titled How to Stop Mass Shootings, where I said this: you want to stop mass shootings, and I mean stop them in their tracks? Put people in a position to put these bastards down the moment they open fire or show up intending to do harm. These guys are corner campers. They want an easy body count, not a shootout. You destroy the mass shooter's fantasy real quick by sending bullets in their direction. Right then the fantasy stops and the reality kicks in, and that's when they take their lives. Then celebrate the heroes who stopped the mass shooter. 10 years later, that's exactly what happened here. The only difference is the shooter didn't get a chance to take his life. A hero did it for him. Finding a place where there are a lot of people with guns ain't that hard in this country. If mass shooters wanted a gunfight, they know exactly where to go. Instead, they go to places where people are most defenseless. You don't stop mass shooters with laws. You stop them by removing their motivation. It's hard to kill a lot of people when those people are shooting back at you. That's why mass shooters don't shoot up police stations. That's why mass shooters don't shoot up gun shows or gun ranges. There's no motivation to, because they know they won't get to kill a lot of people before they're killed by other people. Like I always say at the end of my videos, you are your own first responder. How many more people do you think would have died if Eli didn't take action and instead waited for the cops to show up? Cops with guns can't be everywhere, but you can have a gun everywhere when you exercise your right to keep and bear arms, just like the Second Amendment intended. That's the meaning behind my shirt and hat design called I Am the Militia. The militia in the founding era was the body of ordinary citizens capable of taking up arms to defend not only the nation, but yourself and your loved ones. I just want to say that Eli is a hero, nothing more, nothing less. And anybody who tried to subvert that or take away from that by trying to make it seem like this is the reason why we need to have more gun control laws is disgusting. The people who fight to protect the Second Amendment are fighting to protect their lives. You may not agree with it, but you have every right not to carry a firearm. You have every right not to own a gun. But what you don't get to do is tell me I can't have one. You know, we talk a lot about empowerment in this country, except for when it comes to the Second Amendment. However, I can't think of anything more empowering than having the most effective tool to protect you and your family. So help me spread this message by liking and sharing this video with everyone you know. And don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment, because the Second Amendment, when it said militia, it wasn't talking about the government. It was talking about you. Also, if you want to know where to find the I'm the Militia shirt and merchandise, click the I'm the Militia link in the description section of this video. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and most importantly, make sure you hit that bell symbol.